Hello and welcome, lovely lot here on YouTube. Yes, I appreciate you, and it's good to be back and to get you and myself back into the flow. So I want to give you a little series today of shorts, and I want to talk with you about something that comes up a lot: higher consciousness. And what does it really mean? Many of these kind of concepts or phrases actually have many different meanings. So when we just talk about higher consciousness, it is actually not clear. So consciousness in general is something we still cannot really comprehend. The neuroscientists, they tell us about the neocortex, which is this little brain here, right in the front, I would almost say close to the third eye. Of course, I would be someone who says it's in the heart, like Advaita and many other traditions. And yet it is not really clear what consciousness is. It's definitely multidimensional. It definitely is about who we truly are, and it's definitely about how we are expressing ourselves in consciousness. So higher consciousness can be something that is related to personal development. It can be related to the mind, and often higher consciousness, most people, maybe many people who are talking about higher consciousness, talking about the mind. And the mind is part of the human body and the human experience. For many, the mind is the axis, but it is also the Homo sapien, men and women of the mind. So higher consciousness for me is not in the mind. The neocortex may play its role. It's not that we are separated, but for me, higher consciousness is way beyond this human experience that we have all chosen. And so another way of looking at that in the concept of personal development and mind is like we're liberating from some self-concepts, and we are doing the coping, and we're doing the healing and the psychotherapy and all of that, which all has a purpose. However, it's not my field. So when we use concepts or phrases, we need to be very clear what we're talking about. What resonates more with me, of course, is the mystical experience of higher consciousness. In general, maybe higher consciousness is not my favorite word, but in any case, when we are going in the mystical experience, then we're actually going beyond the separation of mind and self. So we are basically transcending that separation of also human, the soul on a human experience, so also the separation between the self within, the boundless, and the finite, the human, and also, of course, the separation of God. So in general, this is the mystic. And the mystical experience can be for a moment and then forgotten. So you can go on a good meditation, on an ayahuasca trip, on an LSD trip, whatever, and you can forget about it. But of course, you can also embody it. And finally, we find higher consciousness in spirituality and New Age. And here again, it is more relating to the different ways of being. This is also where the Christ consciousness comes in. And this is where the higher consciousness gives us kind of the possibility to be spiritual. Also not quite my field. So higher consciousness is not just a phrase that has one meaning. One needs to be careful how we're using it and what we truly mean. And I want to invite you with one of my flutes to find your own meaning of higher consciousness. Because what does it mean? Higher, deeper, lower? What does it mean? Where is your consciousness? So let me give you a little bit of flute so you can figure out what higher consciousness means to you and how the connotations and meanings resonate with you beyond the definitions. Of course, music, especially my music, our music, the mystic music, is also a mystical experience. Where does it take you? Stay tuned for tomorrow, because I want to talk more about higher consciousness.